Hi everyone, my name's Steph and I just finished a 3-month trip around Australia car camping in my 2006 Toyota Prado. I brought my 2-year-old Doberman along, Phoebe, for the ride and we had the best time ever. Travelling as a solo female, I was concerned about security and safety, especially camping up for the night. It is a vulnerable time of the day for everyone, especially when you're not familiar with the areas. So there's just a couple of tips and tricks I have of what to do camping solo in your car. If you are traveling with a camper trailer or caravan, it might be slightly different because you don't have instant access to your front seat, but there are some things you can take away from this video as well, so please continue watching. The first one is actually finding a camp. So it takes a bit of getting used to when you've not done this before. You know, it probably took me about a week to really work out how to use WikiCamps properly, which was the main source of camping information that I used. I also used HipCamps as well, which is really great, but it was mainly WikiCamps on this trip as I was looking for a lot of free camping. So when looking for accommodation or somewhere to stay with WikiCamps, check the reviews. So whilst you can't take all of them to heart, some people are going to complain about things that don't really matter or are just a bit grumpy in general, but you kind of get a gut feeling from the reviews. Like if it's a constant theme running through there about being unsafe or a bit dodgy, then it's probably right. But if it's just one or two here or there, take it with a grain of salt, worth checking out or anyway, because some of the campsites are amazing and what may upset someone may not happen to you or may not bother you. So just read the reviews and get a gut feeling of things. They're there for a reason, the reviews. People put them up there for a reason, so definitely use that to your advantage. When camping for the night, I quickly realized having at least one or two other people around is beneficial, just for the feeling of safety. You know, there's less likely anything go wrong if there's more people around. I don't want to be in a caravan park with lots of people generally, but having one or two people dispersed around is quite nice, just for that extra feeling of safety. Of course though, if those people are not quite who you want for a neighbour, then move on. I also would recommend getting to a camp spot by at least 3-4 o'clock at the latest, just because if you get to your first campsite and there's something not right, you've got time to move on to the next one. You don't want to be rocking up at your campsite at 6 o'clock at night with the darkness coming in and then thinking, oh, this place is not right, and then having to find somewhere else in the dark. You don't want to be traveling. You've probably been traveling all day, you're tired. So whilst it's hard when you really want to get somewhere, try and stop around 3 or 4 o'clock. And that way you can also see if there's more people coming to arrive, if you're on there on your own, and you can move on if you feel like actually there's no one else coming or you don't feel safe there on your own. But yeah, it just gives you that time to leave. Also, this one depends who you talk to. Some people say you should be visible from the road so that you're less likely to have anything go on because people passing can see what's going on. Other people I've talked to prefer to be hidden from the road, so sort of tucked off. So yeah, being visible or not is a bit of a personal thing, I think. So, yeah, like I said, some people like it, some people not. If I was on my own, I would prefer to be hidden. That way, you know, if someone's driving past, it's not just an opportunistic moment. They don't just see you on the side of the road and think, oh, I just check this out. If you're hidden, they can't do that. They don't know you're there, and the chance of them coming to find you, I imagine, is quite slim. But if I'm with other people, it didn't really matter. So if there's people around, it didn't bother me either way. But it's just being sensible, you know, go with your gut feeling. And that's my next point. Go with your gut feeling. Your first week or so, you might not really have that yet. You're still working things out. You're still trying it out. So don't put pressure on yourself to know straight away what a gut feeling is. But you do get it. So once you're kind of getting it, listen to it. There's places that I moved on from which are absolutely spectacular, but I didn't feel right. Just go, because you're not going to sleep. It's not going to happen. And if you're getting to a campsite at 3 or 4 o'clock, you've still got time to move. So just go to the next one. It's absolutely fine. Don't worry. You will find another one. When you do get to a campsite, just check. Look around. Is there rubbish lying around? Is there broken glass? Is there signs of people doing burnouts, wheelies? Just general destruction around? Is it messy, dirty? have a bit of a feel, and that's partly gut feeling. Like if you see lots of rubbish hanging around or broken glass, you think probably not the kind of people stopping here that you want to be sleeping next to. So that's something else to look for as well, and something I picked up on the way. I've heard from other travelers as well on YouTube, is just check and see what the actual area is like. And also, because I have a dog, I don't want broken glass around, or chicken bones, or that was a really big thing, chicken bones, I don't know why, and bits and pieces. There was stuff lying around, and I just didn't want her getting involved. So if I couldn't find somewhere to park that was clear, I would move on. Hi guys, I just want to interrupt the video just for a second. There's something I forgot to mention, and it was that when you're choosing a campsite, make sure you have 2 escape routes. I think it was Brenna Living Joyfully, it might have been someone else, there's definitely a few people on YouTube, but make sure you can get out 2 ways. So that way, if someone parks in front of you or behind you, you can go the opposite way. You always have an escape route. Try not to park in a car parking space or somewhere like that on your own, where if someone parks in front of you, you can't escape. So just a little tip that I thought was really useful, and one I did put into practice. I always made sure I could reverse or go forward, because there's very little chance that there'd be 2 people blocking your path. Just one, usually, I'd imagine. So yeah, just something to think about. That's finding a camp. I think that covers everything. If you've got anything to add, please pop it in the comments, because I always love extra tips. That's kind of what I used as a general basis. So after finding a camp, getting ready for the night, something to do is always pack your stuff away, even in a caravan park. 1, you don't want your stuff getting stolen. From what I hear, it happens more often in a caravan park than a free camp, but you never know. So just put all your stuff away, have it tucked up. It takes like 5 minutes to do, depending on what you've got with you, maybe less, maybe a few minutes more. But you know, put away your chairs. If you've got a barbecue with you for whatever reason, put that away. Put your cooking stuff away. You don't want animals to get into your rubbish or anything either, so put all that away, because that will keep you awake at night, trust me. You know, put your awnings away. You're not going to need your awning at night time, so as soon as the sun goes down, put it away, unless of course it's raining and you need it, fine. But I would still put everything away, and that's just in case I need to leave in the middle of the night. That way I don't have to worry about what I'm leaving behind. You know, I'd even pack Phoebe's lead away and her water bowl. Everything would go into the car, even if it was just stuck on the dashboard or somewhere. It was in the car. Everything that belonged to me was in the car, so if I need to leave and shoot out, I had everything and I didn't have to worry about anything. Lock your car. That is the biggest tip as well. There's so many incidences, probably more so up north, where sticky fingers in cars and caravans happen. And generally a lot of people don't lock their vehicle. Maybe they think because they're sleeping in it, there'll be less likely anyone coming inside. We know that's not the case. People are opportunistic, and if there is an unlocked car door, caravan door, camper van door, you're just inviting trouble. So lock your cars, lock your doors. Some people think, well, I'd rather them just take it rather than break a window. Yeah, but I think they're less likely to break a window than they are just sort of grabbing something from an open door. Each their own on that one, but I say lock everything up. Once I've done that, I always put my phone and my keys in a safe space that's easy to grab when I'm sleeping. So I always put my keys and my phone in the exact same space in my car every time I went to sleep. So I used to put it on top of my fridge, which was right next to where I was sleeping. It was high enough that I never knocked it off. It's high enough that Phoebe never knocked it off, but I knew exactly where it was. So in the middle of the night, if I needed to grab them, they were right there. Also great when you're half asleep in the morning trying to get out. So yeah, always put your phone and your keys and possibly your wallet in the same place every night, so it's easy to grab in case you need to go, and also you know where it is every night, because nothing worse than falling asleep thinking, where did I put that? Where is it? Don't lose it. I used window covers on mine. 50-50 if you want to do that. Some people like having the privacy. I liked having the privacy so nobody could see in. That also means it makes it a bit more difficult for you to see out, but obviously you can peel it away if you need to look out. I liked it because it kept it a bit darker, and in the cold weather insulated. So use window covers if you like. That is one way, just so people can't be peering in the middle of the night with a torch, and just keeping that a bit more secure. So those window covers. Ventilation, obviously, if you're covering everything up and you're inside, I was really lucky. I've got a sunroof in my car, so I can crack that without anybody outside knowing I've got an open window. And I also have weather shields, which are those little plastic covers over the top of the windows, so I can crack the window a little bit and let air out without anyone getting their hands in or noticing that it's open. So little things like that are really good. I also have the expandable vent covers, like a mesh thing. I'll put a picture up here as well, that were actually made for pets, but also really great for having the window open if it's a hot night, much wider, without anyone being able to put their hands in, or with difficulty, and making a noise, which would then probably wake my dog up, so we wouldn't get any further than that. So yeah, so find a camp, go with your gut feeling, use reviews. You know, if you want other people around like I did, then that's something to think about. If you want to be visible or not, is there rubbish lying around, and go with your gut feeling and get there early. Number 2, always pack everything away, put everything away so you've got nothing hanging around at night time to be stolen, but also so you can get away. 3, lock your car, always lock your car so nobody can get in. 4, put your keys, phone, wallet, anything valuable, anything you need for a quick getaway within reach in the same place every night, so you know exactly where it is when you wake up in the middle of the night. 5, window covers if you want for privacy so nobody can see in. 6, get some secure ventilation in place so nobody can get their hands in when you're sleeping. Just remember, a lot of thieves, especially opportunists, so don't give them the opportunity to get in. Just don't. Don't give them the opportunity to take off with things that are valuable to you. You know, even leaving a solar panel out, it's a couple $100 right there, if not more. So just pack it away, you'll be fine. Something that I've seen Jack and Megan do, and a few others have talked about, I can't remember all of them, it's quite a common thing, is having spotlights outside. So I think people who have like permanent setups have spotlights that they can switch on, so if they can hear something they can turn a light on, it floods the area they can see. I didn't have that as such, but you could get those motion detector ones from Bunnings that like solar charge. That could be annoying with wildlife and going on and off and bothering other people. So maybe something like that, or just the torch nearby might be helpful as well. Did I have any problems when I travelled? I had one scary night and one gut response, really. The first thing was the scary episode was actually on my first sort of week. I got to Port Augusta. I stayed at a pub who offered free camping out the back if you came in and bought a meal. I went to sleep. About 3 o'clock in the morning, something woke me up. I had a look outside, and this ute had come up and parked in front of my car. It was very odd. The motor was running, it was the middle of the night, they had their spotlights on, and it just kind of freaked me out a bit. They then went back onto the highway, because the pub was right on the highway, and came around and parked in front of me again. I was the only one parking out there, so that's why I always think nice to have another person. And they just sort of then parked up next to me. The ute was still running, they didn't get out of the car, but I think they were looking. I don't know what they thought. It was the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, maybe they thought because I was parked at the back of the pub, and because it was a car, that maybe someone had just gone home and they were just going to break in and take whatever they could take. I don't know if they realised if someone was in there, but I didn't have my window covers up, so that maybe is why they took so long to decide what they were going to do, because they didn't know if anyone was in there. So I wasn't hanging around to find out. I jumped in the front seat and left pretty quickly, because that just felt very unsafe. So, you know, maybe being in a car camping situation, you have to be aware that because it is a car, depending on where you park, like the back of a pub, someone might think there's nobody in there and they've left it for the night. So that I then learned, maybe not parking at the back of a pub on my own is the smartest move ever. Sleeping in a car. The second one was just a gut response. I was staying on a free camp that was on the side of a road to a national park, so it wasn't a main road, but it was a road that was used quite a lot. And this car went past, the white Hilux went past. As I went past, it was slowing down. Now all the traffic on that road that day, I had noticed, was fairly, you know, steady because they were going out to a national park, but this one slowed down, which was odd. But I thought, oh, maybe, you know, whatever, maybe he's looking at the view, who knows. And then about an hour later it came back the other way, and this time it was visibly slower as well. So I did get my dog out of the car and just walked around the car, and the car actually sped off. So that was a moment that I thought, I don't think I want to be here on my own. It was quite early in the day. I'd stayed there the night before and had no problems, and there was people around, but everyone had left that day to go do other things, and I decided to stay and have a chill day. In the end, I packed up and I went somewhere else because I just didn't feel like me staying there, especially on my own, even during the day, was probably a great idea. So that's a really good example of what to think about when you're car camping. One is you are in a car, but you can get away. And two is gut response. Listen to your gut. If something feels a bit odd, it probably is. So cut your losses, go find the next amazing campsite. I hope these tips are really helpful. If you have anything you would like to add for other people or to educate me, please pop it below. I do also have an Instagram page, Dusty Road Therapy. Check it out if you want to see my travels through Australia and Tasmania. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Bye. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm just getting ready for bed and I just realised I forgot my number 7 tip, which was to park where there is reception if possible. So that way, if you need to use your phone to call someone, you can. If this is not possible, definitely carry some sort of GPS personal location device. So that way, if you do get into trouble, you can send out a call for help. It's something I've talked about in previous videos, which is probably why I've forgotten it this time. But yeah, number 7, carry some personal location device or park where there is reception for your phone, just in case you need help. I use the Spot. It is a device that was passed on from my sister. And basically I just sign up for a subscription, yearly subscription. It is American, so I do pay in US dollars. But do you know what? It was invaluable. I used it throughout Central Australia and through parts of Tasmania, which are pretty remote as well. So definitely recommend, because you're not always going to be in reception. So that is my last tip. Thank you very much. Have a great day and talk to you soon.